Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play Blades of Avernum. Last episode, we started dealing with the beasts that are causing problems for Fort Salawind. Dealt with a few that managed to make it into the storage area, they are quite strong. Went over to the crypt and found a couple who were inside the crypt and were completely docile. Until they got outside and turned completely rabid. Something they're smelling. And we got back to Fort Salawind to find that it had been overrun by the beasts. Now we have to head south and see if we can find out just where the hell everyone went and what's going on. Alright. No, wait. A little farther. There we go. Alright. Beyond the second gate in Fort Salawind lies another fortification, a supplementary section attached to the main fortress whose purpose is yet unknown. On either side of the gate to the south are towers with archers stationed on top. A large number of soldiers stand ready to defend this hidden place. One of the guards in the tower sees you and shouts to his companion, who turns a wheel and starts turning it. The gate's open. Looks like you're welcome here. They probably don't really like that I'm welcome here, but there isn't much of a choice. Also, that I like. Seeing the trees actually in the water like this, that's actually a very nice touch you don't really see in, oh crap. Okay, hold on, I gotta reload here, because that's a screw-up. Okay, what I was saying was, I like that little touch. You can see it here, too. Having the trees actually be in the water like this, that's kinda how swamps are usually shown to be in fantasy games like this. You don't really see that, so I like it. Alright, once again, just explore around and cover as much as I can. This time, don't actually go outside. Alright. There are a lot of guards here. I really don't want anyone or anything to get in. As soon as you're safely inside the walls, the guards quickly close the gates behind you. The beast cannot enter, and you may not leave. Father Hammond addresses you. Thank you for the help, adventurers. I'll do my best to help the soldiers here. If you ever have need of healing, just come and find me. I'll be happy to service you for free. For free? Thank you very much. That'll be of great assistance. Now let's explore this place. When you try to pass through these gates, the guards stop you. They tell you that no one except lead researcher Balmer is allowed past this point. I am kind of unsurprised, actually. We still have more to see, more to find out just what's going on here. Alright. That's the research hall. So let's take a look at these small buildings first. Prison cells. Not getting into the prison cells. These are probably personal quarters. Yep, personal quarters. Though I don't know these. Well, these are nicer personal quarters. Could belong to the lead researcher. Yoink. Ow. Micah's gloves and a knowledge brew. Ooh. Micah's gloves are +1 to magical efficiency. Give those to Draco. I realize I still have that shield ring. And the knowledge brew, I'll hold on. Might prove useful. Might need it for some reason. Alright, into the research halls. Once again, you meet the aging healer, Father August Hammond. He shakes your hand and says, "Hello again. Is there anything I can do for you? Could you heal me?" "Certainly, I'll even do it for free. It's the least I can do after you help me back at the graveyard." How have you been?" I can't complain. It's much safer here than you might expect. I helped treat a few of the injured soldiers. I feel like I can do a lot of good here. On the other side of this door, you can hear a conversation going on. You recognize one voice as that of Colonel Jensen, but the other is yet unknown to you.
Your concerns are noted, Colonel. However, the ultimate decision lies with me. I trust this will not be a problem. I'm not questioning your authority. I just don't trust adventurers, no matter how competent they may seem. Showing them the cradle is a major risk. It's a risk I'm willing to take. You need all the soldiers you have to protect the gate. Besides, this is the exact kind of thing they were assigned to us for. It would be foolish not to use them. All right, do as you will. Owen Balmer, watch your back.
The door opens and Colonel Jensen steps through. He very nearly runs into you and barely acknowledges your presence as he takes his leave. Curious. We'll go in there in a minute. A young woman dressed in the traditional robes of an apprentice is mopping back and forth through this library. She noticed you the moment you stepped in, ever trailing behind to clean up the mud your boots have tracked in. When she is content that you're not going to spread more mud around, she nods to you and says, "Next time could you wipe your feet? It would save me a lot of trouble. I'm Claire, by the way." "What do you do here?" "Well, officially I'm an apprentice working under head researcher Balmer, but right now I just feel like the cleaning lady. He's had me scrubbing in here for days. I mean, really, one loose sample and suddenly you're doing upkeep for the entire fort." She starts taking her frustration out on the muddy floor. "What's in this library?" "It's mostly records and botanical journals. I doubt there's anything that would interest you here." "Do you know what goes on here?" "Well, I work in the labs when Balmer lets me, so I know about the research. Can't talk much about that. The Empire's pretty protective of its secrets. Other than that, the most interesting thing is those beasts. Not that I want to get mauled by a wild animal, mind you."
Of course.
Who would? I mean, I'm sure there's probably people into that, but still. Protective gear. Gloves and boots. Before you stands a tall young man dressed in the traditional robes worn by Empire mages.
Hello. You must be the adventurers I'd heard about. I hope you'll be able to help with our little problem, but first introductions. My name is Jeff Balmer. I'm the lead researcher here at Fort Salawind.
This is surprising. It usually takes many, many years for someone to reach such a high position. Balmer looks like he's in his mid to late 20s. You seem young to be a lead researcher.
I actually hear that a lot. I assure you my position was earned. I'm the leading authority on botany and magical plants in the Empire. I spent most of my life studying plants. I'm a firm believer that merit is far more important than age.
Is there anything you can teach me?
I should have known you would ask that question. Yes, I'm authorized to teach you. Do you want to learn mage spells or alchemical recipes?
Mage spells, definitely. Capture Mind. Can't learn those other ones, but I don't really use them. Alchemy recipes? Energy elixir, definitely. The rest I don't need. I was told to show you this, the yellow flower. He takes the plant. After examining it for a few moments, he says,
"This is yellow glove. It's a weed that grows in very specific places in the Empire. Where did you find this?"
You explain that Father Hammond found it growing in the graveyard. He looks puzzled for a moment, then turns to a nearby book and flips through a few pages.
That's strange. You shouldn't be able to find it wild here. This area is ill-suited for yellow glove. Unless someone is growing it, I don't see how it got here. I wonder who brought it here. The essential oils in yellow glove, when refined, make a very potent drug with psychotropic effects. It's highly regulated by the Empire. I wonder...
Balmer paces back and forth for a few minutes.
It's possible someone brought it out here simply to harvest its essential oils. That's the only reason I can think of, but it doesn't seem right somehow. I feel something else is going on here. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Now there is something you and I must do.
First, what do you do here?
Mostly I do research. The material itself is classified, but I can tell you it involves a large amount of botany. Botany happens to be my specialty.
And what do we need to do?
Claire, one of my apprentices, was taking samples the other day when she spotted a group of beasts, south of the fort. We are going to investigate.
He pauses for a second, as if waging an internal debate. Then he says,
You should know everything you're about to see is considered to be secret by the Empire. Compromising that secrecy in any way would lead to unfortunate consequences.
Understood. First, though, a young man is running around this lab, clipboard in hand, taking notes and keeping track of active experiments. When he sees you, he nearly drops his clipboard right into a bucket of what looks like pond scum.
It's you! You and I met in the graveyard, do you remember? I was hiding out in one of the smaller crypts. What are you... Oh, you must be the adventurers that were assigned to this fort. Of course!
What are you doing?
Besides talking to you, I'm recording the results of various tests we're doing. I can't tell you what we're looking for. Only head researcher Balmer is allowed to read people in on the project. Sorry.
This is an impressive lab. Taylor beams with pride.
It's great, isn't it? I'm lucky to be here, you know. This is a top-secret operation, and I'm in on it.
Can you tell me anything about this fort?
Nope, sorry, I'm under strict orders not to talk to anyone who doesn't already know, well, anything about what goes on here.
Message received. Oh, that's a mop and a broom. Alright, let's go speak with her. Claire is, okay, I guess we just go to the south then. You walk into a section of the swamp that is filled with flora of all shapes, sizes, and colors. You haven't seen anything quite like it before. The canopy is thick enough that little light comes through, giving the area an eerie feel.
Fascinating, isn't it? We call it the Cradle. It was discovered about 14 months ago by an Empire mage. May not seem like much to you, but it is remarkable. Nearly every plant here has magical properties. Let me see if I can explain. The Cradle is a sort of incubator. We're not entirely sure what makes this place so special, but such an assortment of rare plants is almost unheard of. In fact, there are plants here that have never been seen before. We're not sure what we'll find farther in. So far we've identified over 24 plants with magical properties that went undiscovered before. This is why Fort Salawind was built. We're researching this place and all the flora here. But right now we have a task to do. Let's see if we can find any beasts in here. Oh, and don't touch anything.
Light is helpful. Well, at least now we know what this fort has been about. This cradle. There's a small cluster of bushes here, each producing a plentiful supply of small green berries. Do you want to try some? No. We're not going to be stupid enough to try and eat these random berries that we're finding in a place that is said to be filled with each producing plentiful supply of purple berries. We're not going to eat random berries we're finding here, especially after we're told that all of these plants are unknown and never been seen before. You reach a small clearing in the thick undergrowth. Yellow flowers cover the ground on all sides. Balmer kneels down to inspect them.
These are yellow-gloved flowers, all right. I don't understand what they're doing here. Someone must have had to have planted them and be caring for them to produce so many. I think we've stumbled upon someone's garden. A few things don't make sense, though. For one, how would someone find their way in here? Fort Salawind is built on the only known path into the Cradle. How are these flowers important? Someone went through all the trouble of tending to them, so they must serve some purpose. They may be growing them for profit, but that wouldn't explain why they're being grown here specifically.
When you turn to leave, you hear a rustling in the underbrush. A large group of beasts emerge. You draw your weapons, but the beasts don't advance. They just stare at you. They don't seem to be hostile in any way. Then a light breeze blows through the clearing. A cloud of yellow dust kicks up from the flowers and flows out to the beasts. The change is almost immediate. The beasts snarl and leap forward in a mad rage. Crap! Gotta reload. On the plus side, we now know about kinda what's been going on here. Okay, that's the clearing there. What does happen if we eat them? Poison! That's bad. I kind of expected these would be horrible. And hostile. Red berries. And we're blessed. Okay, so the red berries are blessing us. For a short time anyway. Purple berries? We're drunk. Okay, no longer drunk. And there were a couple others here. Way off in the corner here. White berries. Regain our spell energy. That's actually handy. And now the beasts are on. And we have 5 of these beasts. Slow them all down. Crap! Reloading. Alright, so we know about what each of the flowers do. We know what's going to come, Dave. Don't really need to deal with all of these. Just uncovering all the territory. Because it's what I do. You know me. Yeah, for some reason it felt darker than it's been. And here come the beasts! Alright. Now slow all these down. There was a reason for that. Wait. Lightning spray! Beautiful! And that was the reason. Okay. That got rid of those hostile creatures, and we know exactly... Hold on. I saw someone for a second there, but let's see if we can find anything further. Balmer stops you from going any further. We haven't gone very deep into the Cradle. I don't know what is beyond this point. It would be best if we didn't go any further. Alright then, Balmer, as you say. Oh, there's something back there, but I can't get there. Wait, maybe I can? No, maybe not. No big deal. On the path leading to Fort Salowin stands a young man. He's dressed in the robes of an apprentice. When you get closer, he hears you and turns.
Taylor, what are you doing in here?
Taylor turns, sees you, and runs into the fort. Of course! We found Taylor at the, We found Taylor where we found the other flower. He must be doing this. You make it back to the gates of Fort Salowin. Colonel Jensen is waiting for you. He approaches Balmer and says, "We found one of your apprentices trying to sneak back into the fort from the Cradle."
I know, we saw him. I trust you detained him?
Colonel Jensen nods.
Good, I'm going to go speak with him.
Balmer turns to you and says,
Feel free to join me.
He walks off to the prison cells. Once again, you meet Colonel Jensen. He's busy running around the fort, shouting orders and making sure that the defenses are in order.
I hope you'll make this quick.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to make sure that our position is secure. Those beasts have an unusual knack for finding their way into our fortifications. We must stay vigilant if we are to stay safe.
Why did you abandon the front section of the fort?
I don't know how. Some of the beasts managed to get into the gatehouse with the front gates open. We couldn't get them out, and there was another group coming up the road. I ordered the retreat in case we were overrun.
Is there anything I can help with?
There's nothing you can do for me at this time. You should speak with Balmer and see if he needs your help. If the fort comes under attack, then you can assist me.
Of course. Balmer is speaking with Taylor through a small window in the cell.
What were you doing inside the Cradle?
I wasn't doing anything, I swear. I was just a little curious. I wanted to see what was in the deeper areas.
Did you plant the yellow glove?
I don't know what you're talking about. Balmer turns to you and says,
I need some time to think. I'll be in my lab.
Balmer walks out. Taylor, one of Balmer's apprentices, is sitting in his cell. The floor is muddy from the constant drizzle leaking through the roof. Taylor looks thoroughly miserable. What were you doing in the Cradle?
I already told Balmer I was curious, so I snuck in to take a look around for myself. I wanted to go deeper in and take a look around.
Have you been in the Cradle before?
Once or twice, when I'm not with Balmer, that is. It's pretty amazing in there. Come to think of it, I once saw some evidence of someone else being in the Cradle. Maybe I'm not the only one sneaking in. Of course, I don't see how someone outside of Fort Salwin could get inside.
Do you know anything about the Yellow Glove?
Yellow Glove? That's not native to this region. Besides, it's illegal to grow that stuff. It's almost as bad as scribbane.
We've noticed. There seems to be a commotion at the north gate. You can see soldiers running to it. From the north, you see a truly huge group of beasts approaching the fortress. The archers on the towers knock arrows to their bows, and the bladesmen draw their weapons in preparation of battle. Then something unexpected happens. A mage strides into view, walking among the mad beasts without a care in the world. It takes a moment for you to recognize her. It's Lilia from Marathon. Before you can truly comprehend what this means, she begins to cast a spell. Capture Mind! Much to your horror, the front gates slide open. Now nothing stands between you and a massive horde of savage monsters led by a powerful mage. Colonel Jensen shouts at the top of his voice,
Someone, anyone, close those gates!
Colonel Jensen... You can see even more beasts coming up from the rear of the first group. You might not be able to survive if you don't get the gates closed quickly. Colonel Jensen killed him immediately. Alright. Wait. Give a haste to Bonnie. If Bonnie can get up there fast enough. I think Bonnie will be able to get there fast enough. There's another guard. That helped out. You manage to reach the wheel controlling the gate. You grab hold of it and start turning. With the gates closed, the beast can no longer get inside. Seeing that there's no way into the fort, Lilia slips away and disappears into the swamp. Oh, we made it. And unfortunately, the commander died. Thank you. Yeah, let the archers pick them all off. I'll just sit and watch. That killed all the beasts. So Lilia's the one in charge. Even I was deceived. Father Hammond, could you heal me? It's only regular healing. Not healing the priest abilities. Ooh, a U-boat, actually. Alright. Can't get the extra arrows, much as nice as that would be. Balmer calmly waits for you to speak. What do I need to do?
Well, this has been an interesting turn of events. We now know who is responsible, but we're no closer to answering my other questions. Why? How? To plant all that yellow growth, she would have to have access to the Cradle. She can't have come through this fortress. We would have seen her. Logically, she must have found another way in. We need to find it and close it off. Then we can deal with her. I need you to go into the Cradle, explore it, and see if you can find any way one could enter it without our knowledge. I should warn you, I have no idea what you'll find in the deeper areas. Exercise caution. In the meantime, there is something I must see to. Come back when you find something.
Of course. I thought you were able to heal us. Apparently he's not. I don't know why. Yep. Okay. I have a well, considering she was a, yes, thank you. Considering what she was before, I mean, she was an alchemist who knew a lot, and this cradle has a lot of magical herbs. This is related to whatever she was doing before. Anyway, I'm going to end this episode here. Next episode, we'll head further into the cradle, find Lilia, and see if we can deal with her. That'll be in the next episode, so until then, I'm Chester44, that is Fox, Sheik, Bonnie, and Draco. This has been a Blades of Avernum Let's Play, and I shall see you all next time.